Before you write the draft for your comparison-contrast film analysis, I want to take the time to go through step by step the structure of your paper and how it should be organized. So obviously, the first thing that you need is your introductory paragraph. And in that introduction, you want to introduce the genre of the films and the tropes that you're going to be discussing. The tropes don't necessarily have to be in your thesis statement like they weren't in mine, or they can be. You'll see in the example that I provide. You also want to make sure that you introduce the films by title, and those titles should be italicized. Briefly discuss each film, and provide any necessary context for your essay. Please don't give me a plot summary. I don't need to know what precisely happens from the beginning of the film to the end of the film. Assume that I've seen the movies. Most of the movies on your list, in fact, all of them on your list, I've seen. So I know and I'm familiar with the content of the films. So essentially, the audience for this paper is a known audience. They know what you know. Also, your introduction should include your thesis statement. The thesis statement lives at the end of your introductory paragraph. So remember, in your thesis statement, you want to make sure that you provide a topic, the films, a stance, your interpretation, and a so what. What theme does each film develop? What's the takeaway? What's the message? Why should we watch this film? I've provided an example of a good thesis statement or a good introductory paragraph that I've gotten from a student in the past. And the genre that she explores is the superhero film genre, and the two films that she discusses is Spider-Man: Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy. The one area that I want to focus on is her thesis statement, which reads, while Spider-Man: Homecoming and Guardians of the Galaxy are two very different stories, they both employ the archetypes of an enhanced hero, a powerful antagonist, and a climactic battle in a similar way, while leading to the overall theme of the discovery of strength and the surmounting of obstacles. So what's really good about this thesis statement is that she has her topic, she has her stance, and she has her so what. I've highlighted them each, but she also, in her introductory paragraph, and she just happens to put them in her thesis statement, includes the three tropes that she intends to analyze. Another example that I have for you comes from another former student of mine, where she analyzes The Ugly Truth and The Duchess. I want to focus specifically on her thesis statement, which reads, although The Ugly Truth and The Duchess are two different love stories, they both incorporate a remarkable love interest, enormous obstacles, and a desperate lover to reveal the strength of love. She has her topic, she has her stance, and she has her so what. She just also happens to have her tropes in her thesis statement. After you have your thesis statement, you want to focus on your three body paragraphs. Remember, body paragraphs are strong paragraphs when they're a slice of pie, P-I-E. The P in pie is point, or your topic sentence. Every paragraph in the body of your essay is going to begin with a topic sentence that introduces the trope that you intend to analyze. You're going to unite the two films in that manner. What I mean by uniting the two films together, you don't want to start a paragraph by discussing an individual movie. The point of this paper is to compare both of the films, and the point of the paragraph is to include or to talk about the differences between the two. So you want to make sure that you introduce them together collectively before you jump right in and illustrate the point you're trying to make. So to reiterate, your topic sentence is going to talk about the trope, not the individual films. For example, from the two introductory paragraphs I just gave you, I've given you examples of the topic sentence of their first paragraph. So the opening sequence of both films focuses on the foundation and development of the narrative's central figure, the hero, as well as the establishment of their abilities. Both films begin by presenting the main characters in their distinctive worlds, followed by the love interest that sparks between them. Each of these topic sentences introduces the trope that they introduce first in their introductory paragraph. After you have your topic sentence with your trope, you then can begin to break them up and talk about each film individually. You want to provide specific examples from movie A and specific examples from movie B. Remember, movie A is always going to be movie A, movie B is always going to be movie B. I don't care which is which, as long as you keep the consistency in how you talk about them. So for example, this superhero film example always talks about Spider-Man first and Guardians of the Galaxy second. The Ugly Truth first, the Duchess second. After you've given your illustration or your information or your examples from how each film treats the trope, this is the fun part. This is the exciting part. This is the meat and potatoes of your analysis. You need to provide the explanation. This is where you're going to bring the two films together again. It's not enough to talk about them individually. You've got to talk about the similarities and the differences between them. What's significant? What does the treatment of each trope reveal? Connect back to the so what from your thesis. In other words, show me a connection. What is your interpretation? How do you connect your topic sentence to the information or illustration, and what's your overall takeaway? Included in your body paragraphs, you want to make sure that you utilize transitions to show the flow or show the connection between idea to idea, sentence to sentence. An example pie paragraph. I'm not going to read it because I don't want to take up too much time, but if you look at this example of the pie paragraph, you can see that there's my topic sentence right here that we already discussed, uniting the two films. Then she takes the time to provide information, illustrations, from each of the two films. She talks about Spider-Man first, and then she talks about Guardians of the Galaxy. Finally, and this is the good stuff, this is the meat and potatoes, like I said, this is her explanation where she connects the two films together again and analyzes the similarities and the differences and relates it back to her overall so what, the part where she's talking about overcoming obstacles and what it means to be a hero. You're going to do this 3 times because you have 3 tropes. So each body paragraph should address each trope. If you make it through your body paragraphs, you finally reached your conclusion. Yay! And I know you guys at the end of the essay, you're like, Miss Swan, you're lucky if you get 3 sentences from me because I'm done. It's over. No. But the conclusion should also be as strong as or a weak conclusion can weaken the entire paper. In your conclusion, please restate your thesis in different words. And then you want to branch back out and talk about the genre or their larger implications. So think about it this way. Your essay is the shape of an hourglass. The beginning, you have the top where you talk about the genre, and then you narrow it down to something specific where you're talking about your 2 films precisely. And then at the end, you want to branch back out again and talk about the genre. And think about the theme. Why do we watch these types of movies? What's the overall, why should I care? And this is just an aside for me. Please avoid phrases like in conclusion. If it's your last paragraph, I can tell it's a conclusion. It's a big pet peeve of mine to see the phrase in conclusion in the conclusion paragraph. I've provided an example of the conclusion from the superhero film movie just because it fits, and the other paper was a little bit too long to put on a PowerPoint. Take the time to read through this paragraph and you'll see it's a pretty strong conclusion. Also on Canvas, in tandem with this tutorial, I've provided an outline for your comparison contrast paper. Please utilize that because I go through step by step the structure and the organization of your paper. Plug in your stuff and you're good to go. Or don't, it's up to you. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, and I look forward to reading through your drafts and doing the workshop.